G'day viewers, it's the end of another week, which means time once more for Totally Fucked Up Friday.
Hello, it's Aussie here. How you doing? I'm going to come forward.
You know what, I think
because
the
you can
fifth
see me
hello established that it was AIDSy. Normal human communication is 1, exuberant is 2, 20, AIDSy. But that's okay, because we're here, we've examined the entire world, and we've found the examples of how fucked up things can get. Look, in Australia...
And they're fairly fucked up this week.
They really are. There's a bit for us to play with. Look, I want to start with a bit of a background. In Australia, we have a lot of animals. No, he's dead and gone.
He's not dead. He just said, fuck yous, I've had enough.
In the words of the mafia, dead to me.
I'm taking my panzer and I'm going home.
And leaving my red shoes behind. That's the heartbreaking bit. But animals. You know how in Australia, people always talk about, we have big animals, sharks, but a different thing we don't often talk about is the problem with introduced animals taking shit over, and our attempts to deal with the introduced pest by introducing something else usually make things worse.
Often.
Introducing cane toads to get rid of cane beetles.
Right.
Foxes to get rid of rabbits.
Right.
Never works, makes things worse. I bring this up because I find out this week in Guam there is a plan to drop dead drug-filled mice in the forest to try and convince some introduced snakes to eat them and die of drug overdoses.
See, the thing is, right, I don't know about you, but I've been to Guam and I know about their habits. And frankly, if you're going to kill something in Guam with drugs, you better fucking mean it.
Yeah, rather than mice, they're probably going to have to drop pigs stuffed with heroin and cocaine.
Yeah, and these mice, right, with, condoms full of cocaine and heroin up there, you've got to wonder what snake is going to chew through that.
Yeah, right about now, I'm starting to think of, has a drug smuggler actually convinced the government to bankroll his drug import scheme? No, totally. Parachute in some dead mice full of drugs and it will totally get rid of the snakes. That's all I'm thinking of.
And I'm loving the idea of commando mice being parachuted in. They're dead, of course, right? But they're like, Geronimo! They don't say Geronimo because they're dead, but someone else in the plane...
The guy throwing them out says Geronimo.
Geronimo! And they've all, jump off on static lines, and they're all... like swinging down on parachutes, and the snakes are giving it... Hey, hombre, they're giving us the mouses. Right, and, if I'd had time, I would have got that accent better, because I know it's kind of a Mexican-Colombian mix, and I was just hoping for Guam. Forgive me. But, and I'm just thinking they're parachuting in gently, and, your snakes will be giving it a bit of, I've eaten. I don't want it. But I wonder if they've got teams of peasant workers with, scalpels going, oh, Mr. Hernandez has been very kind today. Flip, plop, plop.
And the weird thing is, this is not even the worst thing I've heard of being done to rodents this week.
We get 25 cents a bag. We are very lucky.
It's all the rage, mouse filled with drug in Guam. But in other parts of the world, the Western world, some scientists have decided to see if rat brains could communicate electronically with one another, which of course they established by drilling holes into live rats' brains, jamming in electrodes and hooking them up to another rat and then seeing if they could communicate. And I imagine if you could understand the rat's communication, it would be, fuck these guys!
How fucked are these scientists? Oh, you're thinking that too?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think that's how the scientists worked it out.
Does your head hurt? Oh, yeah. It does. Oh, wow, this is bizarre because I want cheese. Should we, get the cable over and get cheese together?
I think that's how the scientists actually work out that the brain communication is working, because when they go into the second one, because they've been doing it over quite a long distance, they go into the lab with the rat they've never met, and the rat has an instant loathing for them.
Yeah.
It's like,
you're a fucking unit, buddy. No one likes you. How do you know me? I've never met you before. Well, the rat that was awake when you put the shit in my head recognises you and told me what you look like, and you're a turd burglar.
Yeah. And unsurprisingly, the scientists have said they're doing this because they think eventually humans would be able to communicate with this brain transfer. But they said with the current technology, the only way to do it is drilling a hole in a brain and jamming an electrode in there, which they have acknowledged somewhat invasive. A little bit awkward.
Invasive, you say?
Almost enough to make me stop drilling holes in AIDS's head and jamming the electrodes in. Now that the scientists have said there could be problems.
Hang on. I've always got to be very careful of Angry's wording. Almost enough?
Almost.
Oh, come on, man.
On the plus side, okay, it's not for communication. Who's want to communicate with AIDS, but yeah. We always keep the tinfoil hat handy. But, you know, it's just for his own good. It's like, to get him in line, there's one embedded in the pain centre of his brain and one embedded in the pleasure centre.
Yeah, sweet. Can you press the pleasure centre?
Yeah, that was a lie. They're in two different pain centres.
Oh.
I find that's all that works with AIDS.
So it'll be very much like, oh, you feel like Weet-Bix. Hang on. Oh, you don't want Weet-Bix anymore. No. I've done bad.
And, you know, I find that reinforcement of the pain centres is the only thing that works with AIDS.
Oh, I'm having a great day.
To be fair, it's the only thing that I've tried with AIDS. But you can't rush science, is what I'm saying. One step at a time.
Well, you can't hurry love either.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Now, some people say, aren't you worried about AIDS sort of rising up? No, that's not going to happen. But mind you, with all the animal experimentation, I'm always disturbed when I see a story about an animal harming a human, like in a story of a dog shooting its owner.
Yeah, but I buy that.
I think the dog probably had its reasons.
You know, it was, after all, in Florida.
Yeah, that almost doesn't require explanation. But yes, happened in Florida. Guy has a loaded gun in his car.
Rover, you're driving in the back again. You know what there, Toby Master? I'm a bit sick of driving in the back. And I noticed you got a loaded 6 gun here. I think I'll be driving from now on.
My favourite bit of the story, because at this point you may be asking, why has he got a loaded gun sitting around with his dog in the car? And his answer was, I didn't know it was loaded.
Rover loaded the gun.
I think that's what's going on here.
Rover's not a friggin' idiot. Rover knows that he's a better driver than Toby every time. Cletus. I should say Cletus. Yeah. Rover knows he's a better driver than Cletus. And so from now on, I'll be driving. In fact, I got the pink slip. I'm going to sell me this pickup and get myself a tree house. Oh, yeah. Bitches be coming to me, baby. And, of course, when a dog says bitches, he's really saying ladies.
Yeah, it's not even rude and abusive when a dog says it.
It's not even rude.
It's just actual.
It's just actual, you know?
See, and that all makes kind of sense to me. I can understand animals wanting to kill and shoot people, but I'm slightly confused when an oven shoots someone.
Well, yeah, that had me.
Again, almost not requiring the addendum, also happened in Florida.
In Florida, yeah.
Young woman's having a late night waffle snack. Heats up the oven. You do.
Look, as you do.
And when you talk about the hazards of junk food, people are often meaning the saturated fat and salt content of these processed food, you know, could harm you. You know, it's not usually as you turn the oven on, some fuckwad in your house has left the magazine from his Glock in the oven, so who knew what happens when ammunition heats up? Bang! And before you can tuck down on your fucking waffle, you're actually picking shrapnel out of your body. I shit you not, this fucking idiot, not the person who turned the oven on, someone else in the house, had left a magazine in the oven. The gun, it almost would have made sense if the gun was in there, but no, the gun was safely off in a drawer somewhere else. But he goes, no, I think the magazine will be safer in the oven.
Don't worry about the waffle, sweetheart, just pick the lid out. It'll be right.
And again,
ow!
You will be amazed to know that police investigation has not come up with a plausible answer as to why this idiot had the magazine in the oven. aside from the obvious, like rampant stupidity or maybe drug-induced acquired brain injury.
That happens.
It really, really does. But even certain people known to us all have not put live ammunition in the oven, okay?
That is really something I've not done.
And he's done a lot of shit,
I've
is what I'm
done
saying.
a lot of shit in my time, but I've...
We make fun, but shit he's actually done, which we don't talk about because of statutes of limitations not having run out. Some crazy shit, but nothing on a par with putting live ammunition in a fucking oven, for God's sake.
I've never done that. I've really never done that. I've not even thought about it. I've thought about hiding it in the roof. I've thought about hiding it in a toilet. I've thought about hiding it in concrete, but never in the oven.
Yeah. So, I mean, when AZ thinks it's stupid,
it's stupid. It's really stupid.
But yeah, we're going to round out now with examples of people just being fucked to people, saying fucked things to people, particularly people who are already marginalised, who already had a really difficult life, who are already up against it, and someone who doesn't suffer the same limits, pressures, disadvantages in life, just acts like a complete asshole to them.
We're talking about my people here, Peter.
Well, the first story comes out of Colorado, and a lot of people sent me this link as a transgender girl in Colorado who does have external male genitalia. She's transgender, identifies as a girl, and the school wasn't letting her use the girls' toilets at school.
Which is retarded.
There's a whole court case going on about her right or not to use the girls' toilet. Now, there was a link down below. There was a discussion on CNN with all these people roundtabling. Is this good? Is this bad? Most of them are saying, you're being really shit to this girl, okay? Her life's hard enough. Sending her into the boys' toilet
get
the shit punched out of her more than she already does.
Mind you, and that's true. And that's true. She will get the shit kicked out of her. But however, when she grows up, she will be very sought after indeed.
Well, yeah, there's the right sort of person. Everyone's got their right person out there, is what we're saying.
She is my right kind of person. Not now. Not now.
Not at 6 years old, thank you. Throw that in there. I
just want to point out that is not something that I want to ordain.
Allow, condone.
There's been a lot of stories about the Catholics in the news this
week. We're actually letting them off light. There's a couple we could have done, but we thought, flogging a dead horse, we all know what's going on there. But, so, okay, the panel is saying, this girl's being treated badly, but someone on the panel is a pediatrician who said, no, it's the right thing to do. Because then he said, 6-year-old boys, you know what they do? They run around with their dick hanging out. They do. After they go to the toilet, and the people said, look, we're talking about stalls. It's a girl's toilet. She'll be in the stall doing it, and, you know, it's not going to infringe on anyone. But he said, oh, no. 6-year-old boys, after they take a piss, they tend to run around with their dick hanging out, wash their hands, and then put it away.
Hang on a minute.
No!
Nobody does that.
I used to be a 6-year-old boy, okay?
So did I.
That shit doesn't happen.
That has never happened in the history of history.
That's not real. Okay, so this fuckwit doctor who said that, not only is it not real, but say if all boys did this, all boys do things like piss on the toilet seat.
That's true.
Aim really badly in the urinals.
That's
all. And you can tell all the boys not to do that, and some of the boys will listen, and some of the boys won't.
And eventually they'll catch the message, and by the end of the first formal year of primary school education, because it's either kindergarten or year 1 or prep, it's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay. But they'll get the message, right? Into the water, bloody flush, pull your pants up, get the bloody soap on, and then bugger off back out to bloody hand tennis.
I kind of feel compelled to say that's not really real either. We all know adult males who piss all over the place. What I'm saying is, some will never catch on. Some will never catch on. But we're talking about one girl that if you said to her, hey, this is... And I honestly don't believe you need to say this, but let's pretend for a second you do. Just say to one girl, when you go into the cubicles to do your business, pack everything away before you come out. And she's going to go, oh
yeah, right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, cool.
So this fuckwit, who's really, all he's doing is stigmatising transgender people.
And himself, because I can't imagine being at the round table after he said this and everybody not going, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, it's like, let's go out for drinks. Not
you.
Fuck you.
You stay here and pack up the paperwork because you are a freak.
Yeah,
but I operate on children, not mine.
Yeah. It's like, okay, so he said something that's not real, and even if it was real, would be really easily remedied. So the only possible explanation is he's a clueless fuckwit intent on perpetuating the bloody persecution and isolation of an already persecuted and isolated group. It's a straight up fuck that guy situation.
And talking about the bloody perpetuation and isolation of the tard and all my peeps, right? There's a guy in Britain who has been fired.
Yeah. No, he quit. He quit, to be fair. After everyone in the world said, quit or we'll shoot you in the fucking head.
Right. He got quit fired. And basically he got quit fired for doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Because he said, look, the retarded children, you've got to put them down.
What he said, it was a budget meeting.
And basically, that's the right thing to do. You can't just go up to window lickers and pick them up and throw them. It's not funny. It's not adult, right? It's happened to me a few times. I've been quite happily going, love you, mummy, and then been picked up by the scruff and going, where are you, mummy? And, right, put down those kids that you think are tardated. Leave them alone. They just want to pretend they're eating candy cotton and throw things up their bottom.
Point taken.
Thank you.
And totally disassociated from. But you're slightly on the wrong beam. What it was a budget meeting with a disability group, and he actually said it's too expensive to look after the disabled kiddies, and you should kill them.
Oh my God!
Put down, not literally put down, but
put
kill.
Down.
Yes.
Oh, that's not right.
I'm really glad that you agree that murdering kiddies is not the optimal solution.
That's not right or fair or nice.
It's
because
not.
Some of us are really sweet. Some of us can do things in the community like be speed humps. Some of us can like paint the blue lines on the buses. Some of us have jobs and homes like the zombie. I don't have either of those things, but some of us do.
In theory, there's some bright and shining future where you could.
No, it's a now thing. I've seen the kids at McDonald's and they sweep up, and I ask them for a job and they punch me.
Yeah. I can't help thinking often the special needs kids at McDonald's are actually the most competent at their jobs.
They are!
Because they're the ones who appreciate their jobs and aren't surly little fuckers who want to spit in your food just because you dared to give them a job that at 15 they fucking think is below them. Well, I was not going to go on that little tear, but, I occasionally think people who have a job that they consider beneath them is maybe getting a bit ahead of themselves, because I fucking worked at McDonald's and KFC and pizza. That's what you fucking do when you start out. You start out in shit jobs. You don't start out in good jobs.
You do for casual wages, which was a neat way of getting around the living wage, because why would anyone after a certain period of time need a living wage?
Yeah.
I mean, it was only ever going to be temporary. It's still on now, isn't it?
Yeah. But to get back to our guy in Cornwall, the councillor, again, the most fucked up bit is not that he said, killed the disabled kiddies. I mean, I'm expecting Peter Singer to pop up and defend him any day. There's the guy...
Can I just pipe up and say, That is the most fucked up bit.
Yeah, no, this guy is a highly paid person, calls himself a philosopher and bioethicist, and people who are into animal rights, like Peter Singer, because he's very pro-animal rights, but he is on record as saying, well, essentially, profoundly disabled kitties should have less rights than animals, and he said, hey, you should, if a kid's born with severe disabilities, it should be perfectly okay to kill them because they can't make judgments for themselves and they're not really people yet. So he doesn't see the difference between, say, a first or second trimester abortion and killing a kitty who's been born. He doesn't think there's a difference.
There are some animals that are quicker than me, though.
Yeah.
That is fair.
That is fair.
Like a decent puma, like deploying from a tree, is actually, a fair way away advanced to me. A puma could trap me, but I couldn't trap a puma.
That is factually true. Not exactly sure how it ties in, but certainly A+1 for the science.
Thank you.
That's in there. But yeah, I mean, when you hear people like Peter Singer saying babies can't make their own decision, mind you, you know what? The same argument gives a fully developed baby also isn't a formed person making a decision. So he's saying you should be able to kill them. Mind you, like when Peter Singer's asleep, he can't mount an argument to say that you shouldn't shoot him in the head while he's sleeping.
Which is why I ejaculate over him when he sleeps. He hates it, but it's funny.
He just thinks he has really bad mucus infections, I think.
Sometimes, but then...
Wakes up all sticky?
Sometimes he wakes up and it's me going, and he calls the cops and we all laugh.
Yes.
Anyway, putting down of young tarts.
Yeah, we are going on the record as saying that's bad. And the most fucked up thing was not that the guy said it. It wasn't a slip of the lip. It wasn't an out of context. He was in the context of talking about how to support people with disability and came out and said, by killing them. That's obviously what he actually thinks. And that's the most fucked up thing. Someone who says something that out there and then is surprised that they get a negative reaction.
Yeah, but I'm like Tard, and you wouldn't kill me. I mean, I contribute to society. I do good things, and I don't always poo on your doorstep. Oh.